there, my name is Catherine, and today I'm going to show you how to make something called key lime pie bars. This is like if a key lime pie and a lemon bar had a love child. It's like the best of everything. If you love key lime pie, you're going to love these bars. It's the ease of a bar, the taste of a key lime pie, so this is what we're going to do. The first thing is we're going to throw together a graham cracker crust. Graham cracker crust is made using graham cracker crumbs, which look like this, and you can take graham crackers and pulse them and make your own, or most grocery stores you can find, this is exactly what this is. They're already pulverized, they're ready to go, and I have everything measured out. This is 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs. You pour them into a bowl. Make sure it's a bowl big enough that you have some room to mix, and then you're going to add, this is 1/3 cup of white granulated sugar. And the first thing you do is just combine these so it's like one mixture of graham crackers and sugar. If you see any lumps like that, just mash them up with your hand. Oop, there's another one. Come here. And then what we do is we add melted butter to this, and it makes like a sandy kind of paste that we're going to press into the bottom of our 9x13 pan. So this is 1 stick of unsalted butter that is melted, and that is going straight in. Make sure you use unsalted butter in this recipe. Scrape all the good bits out, and then use a spatula so you can really kind of scrape and stir, and I like to turn the bowl, and you'll start to see it clumping up. You want to keep going till all of the dry graham cracker crumbs have been equally moistened with the melted butter. Now, we are going to definitely start using our hands here to press it in, but I like to get it going with the spatula. And when it's the right consistency, it will kind of hold together a little bit. Just keep stirring. That butter takes a little bit of time to get in there. Okay, it's starting to look pretty even. This is what we're looking for. I'm gonna set my spatula aside. Okay, any 9x13 pan will work. This one happens to have kind of like a non-stick coating. That's great. If you're worried about it sticking, give it a spray, but I don't need to spray this. There's a lot of butter in this crust, so it would really take something for it to stick. Okay, some bar recipes instruct you to press the crust down and then to build kind of a lip around the border. Not this one. We just want to evenly press the crumb mixture in a solid layer, I guess. Yeah, solid layer on the bottom of the pan using your hands, and be real conscious of getting into the corners, and then give it like a firm pressing down. This does not get baked on its own. So this whole thing is baked all at the same time. There are some bar recipes where you kind of bake the crust first, then add the filling. But in this recipe, it's just one step. So this is kind of what you're looking for. A few little like obvious little finger divots are fine, little imperfections are good, but basically we're looking for one solid layer of graham cracker. And that's the crust. I'm gonna wipe my hands off. Okay. Believe me when I say that's the hardest part. Like, if you can make it through that, you can do this. The wonderful thing about key lime pie bars is the filling is a cinch. There's no cooking, there's nothing. We're gonna use 3 ingredients. We're gonna use something called sweetened condensed milk, which the vernacular, most people just know this, they call it Eagle brand milk. Make sure you're getting sweetened condensed milk and not evaporated milk, which is a completely different ingredient. Sweetened condensed milk. You're gonna need 3 cans, so 1, 2, 3. You're also going to need 1.5 cups of freshly squeezed lime juice. Now, if you're dealing with real limes that you're juicing yourself, you are definitely gonna want some help. This is my tool of choice. You can get this at Sur La Table. There are other variations. But if, like me, you live in a town where there is a grocery store that sells freshly squeezed lime juice, get it. Like, just take the convenience factor and run. Do not buy anything that is like on the pantry shelf, like in a little green lime looking thing. Like that is not what we want. You want fresh citrus juice. It's one of the main ingredients. So do not skimp on that. But I was able to find at my grocery store freshly squeezed lime juice. The last ingredient is we need 3 egg yolks, and I'm gonna show you how I separate eggs. I'm going to put the yolk into the bowl that I'm gonna be mixing the filling, and I'm gonna keep the white out here. So I like to, let me think about this for a second. I'm gonna crack it over here. I like to use my hand to hold the yolk. There are a lot of tools for this, but I'm just gonna show you. You crack it, take off the top half, and pass the egg kind of through your hand, maybe once or twice, and just naturally the white will fall off. And then just plop the yolk into the bowl. Don't overthink it. Don't worry if you've gotten every single bit of white. Just most of the white will naturally fall off, and that's all you want. Oops. The reason that we are removing this is we just want the richness of the egg yolk without the protein of the white. It just makes for a better filling. Last egg. Just crack it with your thumbs. Let the white pass through, and then plop it in your bowl. Okay, quick cleanup on the hands. And that's it. So we start with 3 egg yolks. And then we're gonna add in the lime juice and the Eagle brand milk, and that's the filling. So it looks something like this. Get our trash out of the way. You're gonna add the lime juice first, or I like to add the lime juice first. A whisk is the tool for this job. These two stir together pretty easily. Egg yolk into lime juice is almost instantaneous. The Eagle brand milk is thicker because it's amazing and basically like melted ice cream. Make sure you scrape the can to get all the goodness out of there. And we're gonna go for 3 cans. 1, 2, and then let me open this last one. I love the cans that do the work for you. Last one in. And then use your whisk to make sure, you can see like, okay, the Eagle brand milk is really thick and the lime juice and egg yolk is really thin. We've got to get this to a point where the whole mixture is the same throughout. So start small with little kind of like micro movements, but just keep going. It will combine. If you go in really big at first, it's gonna slosh everywhere. Just keep turning and scraping. It'll get better and better. Okay, while I'm stirring this, I wanna let you know, one of the best parts about this recipe is not only can you make it ahead, you should make it ahead. These are gonna require at least a few hours in the fridge, but ideally overnight. And then once you've made them, I mean, I don't wanna go on the record saying you can keep them for longer than you really should, but I will say off the record that I have had key lime pie bars in my fridge for the better part of a week, and they are still fantastic a week later, even with the whipped cream on top of them. So, okay, can you see how this is starting? This is starting to look like all one mixture. There's just a little bit of liquid around the edges, but it's basically now, this is our mixture. That's our filling. Okay, see? All the same. That's what we want. At this point, we're done mixing. Put your whisk down, grab a fresh spatula, and we're gonna go straight on top of our graham cracker crust. Scrape all that goodness out. There we go. Evenly kind of smooth it out without disrupting the crust. It'll just naturally start to flow all the way to the edges. Get the corners, don't forget the corners. Then this goes into a 350-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes. Now, this is what I want you to know. I want you to be set up to succeed. Everyone's oven is a little bit different. I have made these in my home oven, and I've made them at the oven here at work. And here at work, it took 20 minutes. Here at home, it took 30. What you're gonna do is you're gonna set your timer for 20 minutes. Then you're gonna come to the pan, and you're gonna, with your hot pads on, you're gonna give it a jiggle. Okay, do you see how when I move this pan, the filling is moving? It's not liquidy like a puddle, like a pond, like if you threw a rock in a pond. There aren't like ripples, but do you see how it moves? If after 20 minutes you give it a jiggle and the center still has movement of any kind, let it keep going. These key lime pie bars are done when you give it a jiggle and nothing moves. So again, the range is 20 to 30 minutes, and there's just nothing to be done about that. It totally depends on the strength of your oven and a lot of different factors. So you've got to use your eyes, and you'll just learn. You'll learn by doing, and that's okay. So these go into an oven 20 to 30 minutes. Let me show you what they look like when they come out. This is like the magic of working ahead, but this is a finished pan of key lime pie bars that I have cut a few out of, and I want to show you a few things of note. First of all, it is normal to see a couple of little bubbles on the edge and the middle. That's just some air that escaped. Second, you will see how it's gonna always be a little bit raised and maybe more done on the edge. That's totally fine too. But I also want you to look and see how it's firm all the way through. There is not, even if you look at the very center, it is cooked all the way through. When I moved this in the oven, it looked pretty much like this. There was no movement, and that's how I knew they were done. So you take them out of the oven, you let them kind of cool on the counter for like 20 minutes, then you chill them in the fridge, and they get firm and cold and tart and creamy, and they're incredible. When you're ready to serve them, I like to use some sort of metal offset spatula. This is like one of my top 10 tools. It's called a Hell's Handle, but you use it to cut it, and then you use it to lift them out. And I put some here on some little plates for us to show you what they look like. The graham cracker crust, the creamy filling, and the last thing that I like to do when I serve them is to make whipped cream. Do not use whipped cream out of a can. Don't use Cool Whip. It's not the same. This takes 30 seconds. It's heavy whipping cream, some confectioner's sugar. You turn it on high, you wait about a minute, and it whips up nice and sweet. And you can just take a little bit or a lot, however you like it, and just put it on top. One of the first events that we had here at Hurley House when we opened the store about 4 years ago was a surprise dinner party for someone, and we served these key lime pie bars for dessert, and I put the whipping cream in a piping bag with a tip, and I piped it on, and we made more than we needed. And like I said, not only are the key lime pie bars great the next day, the whipped cream really stays stable. And so I'm not saying it's ideal to make whipped cream in advance, but I am gonna let you know, it's gonna be fine. Again, not perfect, but it'll do. So this is the finished key lime pie bar. If you're really fancy and you have a lime, you can grate some lime zest on top. But this is the best cold summer dessert I know. It's so good. It's limey. It's got the graham cracker sweet crunchy crust. It's got the cool whipped cream topping. It's just everything I love about summer in one bar. The best of pie without having to make a pie. So I hope that this has been helpful for you to see kind of the process start to finish. I would love to hear from you if you have questions about this. As always, the recipe is down in the body of this post. Have fun making key lime pie bars.